Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. So yes, I am still RV camping, or craft camping across America or whatever it is. So I'm still on the road. I actually made it to Arizona. Guess what? Today I went to the craft show, and I'll see if I can incorporate some of that video that I took while I was there. So yeah, the Scrapbooking Expo, I guess it's Stamp and Scrapbooking Expo. It did not disappoint. Tomorrow's my class, so today is actually Friday. I went there today, picked up my tickets for the workshop that I'm taking, and so that was just today. Tomorrow, which is actually going to be our Stress-Free Saturday, I am going to go to the show again and do the actual workshop. So that just goes to show, like, I do my videos a day in advance. That's how they come out at 8 in the morning. I don't have little cobbler elves working on my projects for me in the middle of the night. I do my stuff the day before. So anyway, I picked up some paper. So this is one of the pretty papers that I picked up while I was at the expo. And I was like, I'm so totally doing something with this today. I'm so excited, guys. Like, the show did not disappoint. At least I didn't feel like it did. There were so many like vendors there. You can do a project with the vendor at their station. So they have like maybe 4 chairs at the table, and you can do a project right there at the vendor station. They'll walk you through the whole thing, and their products are perfect pretty paper. Anyway, I'm gonna stop gawking on pretty paper and make something with this one. I'm thinking I'm going to cut this down to 6 inches and make myself a little mini fall-esque floral, or what is this, botanical junk journal. So this will just, it totally says Hello Autumn right there on the page. So yeah, I'm going to make something with this. I just cut off 6 inches, so now I have these 2. And if you're not happy with the other side of the page, look at this, guys. Now you have one complete, simple, right? Anyway, I do like the butterflies on the other side. Orange is not my favorite color, but I like the color on the other side. So I'm going to save this side, this 6-inch 6x12 strip, and probably cut this down and make some tags and journaling cards with it. So when I score my page from this size, which is 6x12, I'm going to keep in mind that I need I'll probably do like a 1/2 inch spine here in the middle with my measurements right up here at the top, and I can do the math right here instead of fiddling with that. So here is my halfway mark. I need 1/2 inch in the center, so I'm going to do I'll do 5 3/4 and then 6 1/4. Okay, so that'll give me a 1/2 inch spine right here in the center of my page. And this happens to be the front, and this happens to be the back. Now my page did seem a little wonky, but I'll straighten it up and go and fold that down. Straighten it up and bone fold that down. Okay, now to support the spine, I know you're probably thinking, like, that's going to be a pretty weak spine. To support this spine, I'm going to go in with these are the top border pieces from the top of the page. So I'm just going to grab some washi and reinforce this in here. Yeah, I think that'll look cute. I'm also going to round my corner. So let me just grab some more of my supplies, seeing that I'm crafting in a small space, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, now that I've gotten my thought process all together, I just went ahead and grabbed this index card with measures 6 by 5.5 or 4.5, I don't know. It was the medium size index card. I cut away about let's see, 2 inches of it, okay? And I scored it at every 1/2 inch, and I folded it up on itself. So now I'm just going to grab my Fabrifix glue and glue down the center of each one of those folds and fold this up on itself just to help me create a more reinforced spine. And I may not even, I don't know, it depends on what type of paper I put in here. I'm definitely going to use some of that pretty buttery mixed media pack that I picked up at the thrift store the other day. So that's going to be some of my pages in this journal. So yeah, that's pretty sturdy. And that's going to go down in here. Got to make sure that my pages will fold around it. It does. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Fabrifix through the middle here. Smush that out. And then place my index card spine reinforcer doodad right there in the middle. And my pages can still fold over. And then I will place this guy right here as my pretty decorated section. Finger smush that out. And put that down right there. Okay, so now no matter what I do for this little journal that we're making, or little mini book, the spine isn't going anywhere, okay, for sure. I'm going to round my corners. Okay, so that's what it looks like, reinforced spine. Around these corners with the medium. The medium setting, so that's about 7 millimeters. Okay, and I'm going to cut away the excess piece down here at the bottom. So far, so simple. Alright, so to reinforce the spine on the side over here, I don't want to cover up too much of the pretty, but let's just see, I may be using some 2-inch washi through there. This measures 2 inches. Yeah, that'll work. It's not as pretty as the paper, but it will do. Actually, it's just as pretty as the paper. I mean, look at that. Alright, so this is just to reinforce the spine on the outside, right about there. Okay, and I will cut away the excess right through here. Perfect. Yep, that's pretty cool. Alright, so now I'm just going to find some papers to go in here and decide what I'm going to do about stitching my signatures, right? So I have to figure that out. Let me grab some papers and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went and pulled some of that manila drawing paper that I bought at the thrift store the other day. I believe I paid $1.99 for 50 sheets of 40-pound paper in that buttery, creamy manila color. So I made myself a couple of signatures, and those two will go right inside of here, but they're a little bit too long, right? So I've also pulled some pretty scrapbooking paper with just some handwriting on there, some script writing. There's that buttery paper that I was telling you about. I put in here some Sears and Roebuck catalog paper and the little ledger paper that we made the other day, Magnolia Mercantile, okay, hashtag. Anyway, so yeah, it's a bit long for this journal because we did give it a 1/2 inch spine, so we lost a 1/2 inch on the end. So we just need to cut this down 1/2 inch, okay? So, or a little bit more. So basically I have 2 signatures. They're aligned the exact same way with the same papers in there. I just cut everything down to 6 by 6 or 6 by 12 actually, and then folded it in half. So I need to remove a 1/2 inch off of the edge, which will make everything line up really nicely inside of here. And I may or may not need to remove some off the top, okay? Or the bottom, depends on your preference. I'm gonna cut away 1/2 inch, so about that much off of the end here. Here, I'm just gonna remove like a sliver of 1/8 inch off the top, because really you don't need a lot off the top. It will fit into the journal, but I'm just going to remove it just for the sake of doing so and making sure everything lines up in there really good. So I hope you guys are having a low stress Saturday, stress-free day, and we made it to the weekend, guys. I'm so happy. Okay, so yeah, I just removed like this much off of the top, and let's see how this one works. Oh, it works really well. I don't know, sometimes I don't know, guys. I don't know, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So I'm going around these corners and try to do them all at the same time, and that should work. And if it doesn't, I'll have to do them individually, and I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do that. That's a struggle all by itself. Okay, so that's working out, rounding all of these corners. So there's about this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Alright, so there's 22 individual spaces that you can use to write or draw or, you know, color in the pictures. It doesn't matter. But there's lots of writing space in here if you need it. Alright, so there's 1 signature. I'm going to do the same thing for the next signature. Again, now that I know I'm cutting off a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch off the edge. Alright, so my signatures are all ready to go. I'm now going to make a couple of pockets with the remainder of this paper right here. I'm going to also cut it down to make maybe a tag or 2. So there's going to be some various cuts, and because this paper is already pretty and pre-collaged, I'm just going to cut it right at the measurements and not worry too much about what the image is, because it's all pretty, right? So I'm just going to cut a couple of 2.5 inch strips right there. That can actually be a very nice tag, and 2.5 inch right here. And another 2.5 inch. I can see that this one's going to be a pretty tag as well. See that? Pretty tags. And then one more 2.5 inch strip. So here I'm just going to round the corners on this side. Round the corners on this side. And this will be my front pocket right here. And then this one will be my back pocket over here. So I do need a thumb notch. So let me grab my circle punch. The crazy punch came out of the house, guys. I brought it with me. Let's hope I don't injure myself. Okay, EK punches are very dangerous items. I'm going to guesstimate my center of 3 inches, and I'm just going to pop a little circle punch right there. It worked out. Gingerly force. I'm going to line these two up together and get my circle thumb notch right in the same spot on both sides. Woohoo! I did not hurt myself, guys. It's always a good day when you don't injure yourself. Alright, so I'm going to use, again, not Scotch Create. I'm going to use Fabrifix. And all I'm doing right here is just reinforcing the flimsiness of the front cover. So I'm just adding just a little stream of glue right along the edges and the bottom. Okay, so my tree, isn't that a pretty cherry tree? It's going right over here on this side. And no, I'm not using my glue mat. Shame on me. But it's just a couple of items that needs gluing. Okay, so there's one. And if you notice, I didn't do any inking. Now I may ink at the end around the whole thing, but it's absolutely not necessary, especially on this pretty paper. So just going around with a little stream of Fabrifix. And this pocket's going to go right here in the front. Get it straight. I've already rounded my corners to match, and that looks pretty cool. Alright, so now we just need to figure out how we're going to stitch in our signatures. So I have my wax thread. That is so pretty. I think that'll work inside and out. I have my awl. I also have my crocodile, but I think that's going to make too big of a hole considering we only have a 1/2 inch to work with. And I did bring my needles this time, so I don't have to sew with just my fingers. I brought my needles, and yeah, we're going to stitch this in. Now to get it even, I only need 2 dots, 2 dots, and 2 dots. I'm going to use my little micron pen here and my ruler. I'm going to use the centimeter side because it's a little bit easier. So from the top, I'm going to put one at 1.5 centimeters right there. I put one at 6.5 centimeters. And I'm going to put one at 14 centimeters. Okay. I'm going to slide my ruler over and do the same thing right next to it. 1.5, 6.5, and 14. Okay. So those are my signature indicators right there, and I'm just going to use my awl, and I don't have like any kind of like foam packaging underneath this, so I'm just going to have to go through my craft mat and twist that all the way through to make sure that I get a nice big hole in the spine to accommodate the thread and the needle. And you want to make sure that you're staying in line with the marks that you made for one, but you're also eyeballing this to make sure that everything is lined up as you go. So that's all I'm really doing. 2 more and we're there. I think that should do it. Yep. So it's not pretty on the outside, and we can fix that by going back through the hole on this side, but it's not even necessary. I'm just going to thread my needle and get to stitching those signatures. And oh, we didn't even punch holes in the signatures, so that's something else that we got to do. But the rule of thumb for measuring the thread that goes into your signature is 3 times the height of the project if you want like a dangle or something, or a pretty bow tied in the middle of the signature. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, and 3. And I'll cut away this and I'll do it again. Just like this. Whoops. Okay. So let's make some holes in our signatures. Make sure everybody's lined up. Paper's right side up. Yes. Now is the time that you want to reposition everything, because I have some shorter pages in here. And I suppose I should have checked to make sure that my shorter pages are going to get stitched, but it doesn't matter as long as one of the needle and thread goes through. It should be fine. It'll hold. I've done it with less. So I'm just going to take my micron pen. This will be my back signature. I'm just going to place it right there on the book spine and put a little dot right there, and right there. So that's just my indicators as to where my holes got to go for the stitching of the thread. So I'm going to fold this back on itself. And apply the same method, except I'm going through paper this time, so I don't need to apply any force. And my last one is down here. Okay, so there are my 3 holes straight down the middle of my signature. And again, you want to make sure that those holes are wide enough that your needle can fit through it, not just the thread. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to thread my needle. It has a huge eye, so shouldn't have a problem doing that. And I'm going to start in the center, inside of the spine, and pass this through right there to the center inside of the book. And then I'm going to hold this in place so I don't lose my thread. I'm going to pass it through the top, outside of the spine, and through the top, inside of the signature. Okay, then I'm going to go all the way down on the insides, bottom of the signature, and through the bottom outside of the spine. And now here's the tricky part. We're going to come back through the center of the spine and finish this up. Okay, so now's your opportunity to make sure everything is straight. Now I need to straighten these 2 strings up, and I also need to make sure that one of these are on one side of this little bridge and the other one's on the other side. So this is just how I do it, especially with something that's so fragile as this little book that we're making right here. So yep, I'm just going to tie it in a lock knot. Everything's nice and tight but not tearing. There's one knot, And a lock knot is basically just right over left and then left over right. And I'm going to put a little bow just like so. So sweet, so simple. Then you want to train your book to live where it's going to stay forever. And now we have that. Okay? You do the exact same thing with the other one. And that's going to go there. Make sure it's lined up with the previous signature, regardless of how bad you put the signature in. You just want to make sure that the signatures are lined up inside of your book. And it has a little bit of wiggle room, so you can maneuver it, make sure everything is nice and straight. But yeah, just make sure that your signatures are lined up when you do your marks on the top and the bottom. Okay, that's what I mean by lined up, because on the end they're not going to be at all. Right? So I'm going to thread my needle first, and then I'm going to poke my holes. I'm going to take this entire thing. Oh, first I need to adjust my pages. Okay, then I'm going to take this entire thing and flip it over on itself. And then I'm going to poke my holes through the same way I did previously. Okay, and you flip it over, they're all in the center. Everything lines up, everybody's happy, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing again, go through the center of the signature, center of the spine, hold that end, and I'm going to go through the top of the spine and the top of the signature. And I just did all of this without even, well, it's a small book, right? So that's the first step. But I didn't even need any pins or clips or anything. But if you so choose, you can clip in your pages and make sure that you nothing shifts on you. And I said shifts, and everything is still in place by the time you're done. So I'm just giving my thread a tug. Okay, and I'm going to go back through that center hole on the outside and come through the center hole on the inside. And it's okay if you don't get it like right away on the right side of the bridge, like right now I don't have it there, but that's what you want to make sure that you do before tying any knots or bows or anything. You want to make sure that these two strings are on either side of that little bridge. And I'm just evening up my my threads here to get me a nice little knot and a bow. So I'm doing one right over left, one left over right. Oh goodness. Okay, and then a little bow. So sweet, so simple. And now our book is really sturdier. I mean, not real sturdy, it is paper, but it's much more sturdy now that I've added these pockets on the front and the back cover. Okay, so oops, this side needs some more glue. Easy fixes, I love it. Okay, so there's that. I don't know how I missed that, but okay. And now we have these little guys right here for some tags. I still have this little piece right here. I intend to use up every single bit of this paper. Oh, by the way, the name of the paper is from Simple Stories, and this is the Nature's Wonder collection. So let me just find something that I can. So what is this? Anyway, I'm just going to try to block out everything else so you guys can see. It's called Simple Stories. It's the Vintage Country Harvest, Nature's Wonder was the name of that page that we just used. So, in case you're wondering or wanted to know, that's what I just used. So, I mean, guys, we know how to make tags. And I'm avoiding it because I don't have my little card. You know how to make a tag. You know how to make, you know, journaling cards. I think that would make a really cute little bookmark, actually. Yep. So, I mean, the options are there, and, you know, the creativity is endless. So go try something low stress today. Anything, do anything. Make a tag, make a journaling card, make a mini journal, all right? Out of just some pretty paper that you didn't have to decorate yourself. Just go do something fun and stress-free. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out my links down below. And I want you guys to stay naturally curious. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will definitely talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.